my goal right from the beginning was kind of world domination, kind of just really change the idea that people have of how languages should be learned. What I tried before was finding a way to help Spanish people learn English, and then finding a way for anybody to kind of learn Chinese. But both things required this kind of input, kind of graded input at different levels existing somewhere. And we just were not able to find it anywhere. I started this after having already failed a couple of projects that were already related to language learning, that were already like going into that direction of letting people know that, hey, there's a better approach to learning languages than regular traditional study. But yeah, in 2017 is when I started, and it was myself. I was on myself until around COVID. Nothing really has helped us grow. I would say nothing that I've tried to actively do has helped us grow. It's going to take around 1,500 hours to get to a level in which you're fluent and you can do most things.
Why do you think it's still hard? It's like this school system isn't adopting comprehensible input, for example, or other better teaching methodologies. What if everything you were taught about learning a language was wrong? Not slightly off, but like completely wrong. Think about it. Most of us spend years in school, conjugating verbs, memorizing grammar rules, doing exercises out of textbooks. And then what? We go to the country and we can barely order a coffee. Like, you know the word for coffee, but the rest of the sentence. My guest today figured this out the hard way. Pablo Roman spent years failing to learn English in school. Then one day he just started watching TV shows, listening to podcasts, consuming content he actually enjoyed in English. And it clicked, not because he studied harder, because he stopped studying altogether. But it's not just about consuming content that you enjoy, but that insight became an obsession. And that obsession became Dreaming Spanish, one of the most quietly powerful education businesses on the internet today. It's a YouTube channel turned subscription platform, almost 30 people in the team, over 500,000 subscribers, and a mission that Pablo himself calls world domination, changing how humanity learns language forever. The method is called comprehensible input. He did not come up with this. That was based on from a researcher at the University of California called Stephen Krashen. But the idea is that simple, kind of mind-blowing actually. The brain acquires language the same way it did as a baby, not through rules, but through massive exposure to content you can actually understand and enjoy. No pain, no gain does not apply here. The easier and more enjoyable the content, the faster you learn. My girlfriend uses Dreaming French, the French version of Dreaming Spanish. I've watched her go from zero to actually understanding bits and pieces from French in just a few months. So this one is actually quite personal. What I love most about Pablo's story, though, isn't the method. It's the journey. 8 years of slow, organic, almost stubbornly patient growth. No ads for his business. No venture capital. No growth hacks. Just content, word of mouth, and building an unshakable business. And a belief that the world needs a better way to learn languages. This is a conversation about mission-driven building, the hidden costs of managing people when you'd rather just create, and what it actually looks like to build something meaningful without losing yourself in the process. Please welcome Pablo Roman. I always like to start with a very simple question, because especially as founders, oftentimes we become a bit public, and we get so focused on one thing. You've shared a lot of your journey already, but what's something that you wish people knew more of, but you don't share enough, you feel? About you
that I
or
wish
about
people
business?
knew more of, but I don't share enough?
Yeah. Like something you're like, man, I wish people really knew this about me.
About me?
Yeah.
I'm not sure, because kind of part of what we do, especially what I did at the beginning, was just tell my life to a lot of people to kind of cover all fields of life, but also to get people to kind of feel that they know me, they want to know more about me and watch all the other videos and stuff. So I'm not sure if there's something about me that I would like people to know more. Even the things that I told about is not because I wanted them to know per se. Like, I was never, even before I started, I was never like big on social media, even sharing a lot with like friends or people who knew me, and it was more like, yeah, I don't mind doing it if it's gonna like help people learn Spanish, if it's gonna help grow our approach, then yeah, I'll go ahead and do it. What I what I can say is that there are a few things about our business, about how we operate, that
Sure.
yeah, that I see many people just guessing, just throwing out stuff, just on Reddit especially, assuming
Tell me.
things about how we operate that are not true, like assuming that, for example, our guides, our teachers don't get a monthly salary.
Really?
That's
That's so
for some
strange.
reason they're not paid well, or that or maybe something like everything that they see in each video or that the company does, they assume that everything has gone through me. And kind of at this stage, we are like almost 30 people, cannot be like, not everything can go through me, but they assume like that I'm like responsible for everything. So everything that happens, it has to have, I have to have seen it and therefore agree with it.
Oh,
And
wow.
therefore I'm like X because I let this thing through. Let's
Damn.
say. Yeah.
So you got 30 people in the company now. Congrats. It's pretty sick.
Yeah, something like that.
But it started with just you. Like I was doing a bit of research. You started with, and then since 2017, right? With a whiteboard in Bangkok, creating YouTube videos. I was really wondering.
I was then in Spain for a couple of years, but yeah, in 2017 is when I started, and it was myself. I was on myself until until around COVID, which is when my current business partner and co-founder Lawrence started learning Spanish. Yeah. So around like mid 2020 to late 2020, I don't know when he first got in contact, but we were having talks around that time, and we started working together before the end of 2020. And then right at the beginning of 2021 is when we registered the company and like
that's awesome.
Started going at it more seriously. But until then, I had already been growing the YouTube channel for a while. And
who were you making those first videos for? Because you had, I saw you learned English a lot with just like immersion and comprehensible input, and then you were now starting to make these videos in Spanish for other people. Was it for yourself or just like for fun?
No.
What made you start that?
Like I started already with the purpose of change the way that people learn languages and popularize a more effective approach, a more effective method. Like my goal right from the beginning was kind of world domination, kind of just really change the idea that people have of how languages should be learned. Like I could go through my whole story with like learning languages and why I decided to like go this way. But yeah, I started this after having already failed a couple of projects that were already related to language learning, that were already like going into that direction of letting people know that, hey, there's a better approach to learning languages than regular traditional study.
That's awesome. Yeah. And also like when you see everything that you've done, like, I mean, just in the language learning community, at least, people you dreaming Spanish and now dreaming French is a great example of like what's possible, really showing people that you can learn languages so much more effectively. Just go a little bit side tangent. Why do you think it's still hard? Like this school system isn't adopting comprehensible input, for example, or other better teaching methodologies?
There's the kind of general sluggishness to change. It's always difficult to change people's minds when things have been in a certain way for quite a while.
Yeah.
There's then maybe I would say two more things. One is that by nature, language acquisition is just so much different to other types of learning. It's not like you can memorize dates and facts like in history class, or just understand. For me, in math class, I just had to understand concepts, and then that's it. I did not have to even do anything else. But for language, you really have to be exposed to these patterns over and over and over and over until your brain figures it out automatically, and just you're used to it enough that your brain can do it just subconsciously, automatically, without you having to think about it. Just by nature is quite different, and it doesn't maybe even fit the classroom that much. And one other reason I think is that because if you use comprehensible input, the teacher becomes less important, in the sense that every kid gets comprehensible input from their parents, and their parents don't have to have any particular training.
That's true.
So there's better and worse comprehensible input teachers or guys,
tell me about that.
or fathers, mom, parents, let's say. Because some people, you just get along better, you pay more attention to them, if you like them better, they're more entertaining. Yeah, you're trying to use comprehensible input in the classroom. Some are better than others, but maybe they're not the current teachers. Maybe they're not the people who are now teaching, because the people who are teaching now, they're teaching because they know the grammar, they have studied how to teach the grammar of the language they're teaching. So maybe they don't overlap. So there's gonna be some resistance from those teachers who are maybe wouldn't be as good teachers for CI, and they don't wanna be fired and have to find another job. I think that just makes sense.
Totally.
And there's also, there's also the practical side of it, which is, for example, if you want to put, let's say, a native speaker or even a proficient Spanish speaker in every classroom in whatever country wants to learn Spanish, let's say US or UK or something. Do you have enough people? Do you have enough native speakers, enough proficient Spanish speakers to put in every classroom to give people like live input in person? Maybe not. Do you have enough English speakers to be in every classroom in the world, in China, in every country that wants to learn English? It can be complicated in practice.
Other limitations. So right now, the way you're dominating the world is that's the mission, which is very cool. I think do you feel like you're dominating the world of Spanish?
We not like in overall. I think I'm happy with the progress we're making. We have for sure established that comprehensible input is a thing. We have so many other people imitating us, creating YouTube channels, using comprehensible input for our languages. So I'm happy with the way things are going. We're getting more and more people to learn Spanish, to learn to such a good level that they then can show other people that this works, that you really can learn this way. So I do think that we are leading for sure the comprehensible input teaching
movement
kind of sector. Overall language learning, of course, is a lot bigger, and there's many things, and there's like 100%. Language learning apps, and there's actual schools, like language schools, but also regular like public schools, or like primary schools, secondary schools, universities. And that probably, I don't know, it's going to take like a lot more time for that sector to kind of change their their idea of language learning.
I think it's very important for people to know, though, like about the power of this. I have one other entrepreneur friend who also teaches Spanish. His business is Craft Spanish, and when I ask him like, why don't you use more comprehensible input, he's not Spanish. I think he's American who learned Spanish and then teaches in a slightly different way. But just the point is that I think how people enjoy learning is still also important. I mean, I'm like, why wouldn't you just use comprehensible input and then speaking practice anyway? Because it's just so much easier than trying to memorize grammar rules. So, but I think
of course,
the most
there's
important
also the idea of what people want. If people don't believe, learners don't believe the comprehensible input works, they're not even going to try it. So it's not going to work for them because they didn't try it. Yeah. Of course, there's also that part of
Yeah.
convincing the audience, the market, that this works for sure.
Yeah, but it's cool. It's becoming more popular though. Like that's pretty obvious then, because yeah, very likely it wasn't so known. I mean, whatever, 10, 20 years ago. So
It wasn't
that's
at all
very
really,
sick.
like nothing like this existed, and that's
Mm,
why I had to start this project. That's why the other ideas that I had before that didn't work. Is just because they relied on this kind of content existing for other languages. What I tried before
mm-hmm.
was finding a way to help Spanish people learn English, and then finding a way for anybody to kind of learn Chinese. But both I tried in two different ways. The
Yeah.
first one was a website similar to ours for English. The second way was coaching,
Okay.
just guiding people on their journey
Mm-hmm.
to learning Chinese by themselves.
Okay.
But both things required this kind of input, kind of graded input at different levels existing somewhere. And we just were not able to find it anywhere. So my next
Oh wow.
conclusion was that, okay, I'll need to make it myself because it just doesn't exist.
Wow. And now, out of the 30 team members of Dreaming Spanish, how many people are creating that input? Is it the majority or?
So we have a little bit of everything. We have maybe like 6 full-time Spanish teachers, and soon or almost we almost have 6 full-time French teachers. I think we're maybe have 5, and we'll have 6 in like the next week or two. So we have that. We have maybe we're gonna have like around 6 video editors, at least counting the full-time ones.
Oh, of course.
Couple
Yeah.
designers.
That's a big part.
One kind of content coordinator for each language. And then my co-founder and me.
Yeah.
One person for customer support. Yeah.
Sure.
If we have one in-house developer, and then a few more that are outsourced. There are
Cool.
dev shops that we hired. Those are not on. We don't pay their salaries. Their companies pay their salary. So I'm not. I'm not counting those in the 30, but it's around there. Either we're at 30 or like getting there pretty soon.
Wow. Basically a media company in the end. Well, with a very specific mission, which is
the technology technology part is still kind of relevant, but I would say
sure,
the biggest part is a media company. Yeah.
No, I've heard just from what Jifei was saying, because she likes to use Dreaming French. I did use Dreaming Spanish a little bit, but making learning addict. Yeah,
does
my partner.
Your audience know who Jifei is?
Maybe not. My partner, who we also built Xiaogua Chinese together, and we do something similar for helping people become fluent in Chinese.
Yeah,
and she's also learning French.
She actually introduced us, and I've known her for quite a while because we got in contact. I'm learning Chinese myself. She was living in Spain, and she speaks Spanish super well, super fluently.
Yeah.
So we discuss like business every now and then. We've also done like crosstalk, so she's helped me a little bit learn some Chinese.
How's your Chinese right now?
Not very good, because since my son was born, I haven't been getting that much input. I really don't have time during my day to or energy to give to that. Recently, only if I get some time to go to the gym and run on the treadmill, maybe I'll have some videos to watch in there.
Yeah.
But I really need to get back into it. Right now I'm at a kind of high beginner level, high intermediate level. So for me, all her videos are comprehensible. There's no videos in her channel or her website that I find too hard. But I'm still at a level that I really can benefit a lot from that content.
Yeah. This research was showing also that just the more repetitions we have, the easier it then becomes to speak it too. Just to touch on it a little bit, importance of consistency, of course, in anything, but basically being immersed every day. What's the let's say, path to success? If a person wants to become fluent in Spanish, French, Chinese, what should they be thinking about to make sure that they become successful in the language, in your opinion?
So the basics are getting lots of input, comprehensible input. So maybe now's the time to explain what comprehensible input is. The way language is acquired and the way our brain kind of forms the model of the language so that we can understand it and speak it the same way we can speak our native language in a subconscious way that lets you think about what you want to say and not have to think also at the same time how you're going to say it. Happens through language through comprehensible input. And that's the case both for children, for babies, and for adults. As adults, we can still do it, which is kind of the main fear or the main doubt that many people have. And what comprehensible input means is that you're receiving a message. Either you're hearing something or you're reading something, and you understand what it means. And the way this happens is if you're really starting, if you're a beginner or you're starting from zero, it's mostly going to be through hearing. And it happens when you hear something and you can associate it with its meaning, either because a person is showing you a banana and saying banana, and then you can associate it, or they're, I don't know, singing and somebody says, oh, that person is singing, and you associate, oh, singing, that's what singing is. Later on, once you know enough words in a language, just from the context, from the other words in the same sentence, you can many times guess at the meaning of new words. So once you're at a certain level, then reading also becomes a way of getting comprehensible input and continuing to acquire the language. Yeah. So for success, this needs to happen. These is a requirement. Whether you decide to like learn with only comprehensible input or to try to add some other things, this will need to happen for you to really be able to form this model of the language and be able to speak in natural sentences. So this is necessary for you to achieve success in language learning. This will have to happen. And then there's all the considerations that maybe if you've coached people, you probably also have put a lot of attention in the practicalities of like motivation, of like keeping,
of course,
like building habits, keeping your motivation up by maybe getting some early wins. So the ways you get that, besides all the regular ways how you form habits of maybe like deciding a time every day, the thing like putting the shoes on in front of the door so that the first step to go out, jogging is already done. All those like things that apply to kind of everything. For language learning, what's also important is to make it very easy for you. Like there's you're not going to learn faster just because you're listening to like very hard stuff, to things that are still very hard for you to understand. On the contrary, you're going to learn faster if there's only one word in every 20, every 30, every 50 words that you don't understand. You're going to make faster progress than if you really try to like do something hard. So no pain, no gain
intuitive always
doesn't apply for language learning.
Which is crazy. Yeah. That's what so many people think, that it needs to be hard. But just so reinforcing it.
Having the content be easy enough. Another thing is having the content be fun, be interesting to you. Just enjoying the content itself. If you can, at your level, find content that you would like to consume, even if you were not learning a language. That's the ideal case. Yeah.
Basically, that's how you also kind of think about when you design the content of Dreaming Spanish, Dreaming French, right? Like to make it so entertaining that's like watching a movie or watching a TV show that we would want to watch anyway, right?
Yeah, we try to make content as entertaining as we can, and also just have variety so that people can just skip the content they're not interested in and focus on the content they actually like. So the way we build our library of content assumes that you're not going to watch all the videos, which goes against what some people kind of expect or want, because some people are completionists and say, oh, if I watch all the content, then for sure I'm going to learn very well, right? But that's not how we mean the content. Like, the idea is that you're just watch the things that you're really interested in, you're really paying attention, so that you actually get the most of the time you spend receiving the input, and you can just leave the things you're not interested in to the other people who like that topic, who maybe like that teacher. And that's why we're going to continue making content, even if we're past the 1,500 hours that you need to get to a good level in Spanish. We're going to continue making it so that in the future, maybe we can even have some kind of way of suggesting the best content to you. And a bit like YouTube, you can just ignore what you're not interested in.
That's so powerful. I didn't think of that. That's awesome, actually. And that's relieving, because then you don't need to be like, oh, I need to watch everything. And you said 1,500 hours. What is that?
So yeah, we have
just for Spanish?
We have a whole, we have a really cool poster. We have a roadmap that shows the 7 levels in which we divide language learning. And we say, for a speaker of English or a speaker of another European language, which is not that far from Spanish, it's going to take around 1,500 hours to get to a level in which you're fluent and you can do most things like a native speaker. You can, at least like in terms of practical usage of the language, like you understand movies, you can live in the country and get by, you can go to the bank, to the hospital, and not have trouble using the language day to day, right?
Yeah. That sounds like a lot, though. No? Like that means 5 years with 1 hour per day, no? It's quick math,
yeah. But it's not quicker if you do it the traditional way. And the opposite, like many people spend many years in school and they don't really get anywhere. So it actually stays with you, because you're building this model of the language. Even if you take 1 year off, 2 years off, when you go back, it's very quick for you to feel that you're back at the point where you were when you left.
Awesome. Yeah, that's true. I learned Spanish for 4 years in university and couldn't speak afterwards. Then I just learned by, using it in the everyday life and living in Spain. And that's really what helped, not memorizing the grammar rules. Yeah, it's really funny. Is it the same number?
We have that goal, 1,500 hours for this case, but then we have other cases for other Romance language speakers. So if you're a native speaker of Italian, French, Portuguese, then we guess it's going to be around half the time, like 750 hours. If you're learning a language that's completely unrelated, like Mandarin Chinese, usually we see that's around twice that time. It's also my experience when I learned Thai, when I learned Chinese.
Yeah. Did you learn Thai only with comprehensible input and then speaking practice, or how did it?
Yeah, because for me, learning Thai I was not interested in becoming a Thai speaker at the beginning. There was just a school in Bangkok that taught Thai in a way that really matched my previous experience.
That's awesome.
When acquiring English and Japanese. And I really wanted to experience it, see how well it worked. So I came to Thailand for 1 year. I learned Thai at that school, and I thought, well, this is really cool. I'm going to try to apply this approach to help people learn languages. So that's why...
That's awesome.
That's basically the foundation of the method that we use, is the method that was used in this school.
And Jaffe told me that school doesn't exist anymore, which I think is pretty crazy, because it sounds like it was very awesome.
Yeah, so that school... Side note. The company itself exists, but when I was here, the Thai program was teaching using this method because of its history with the creator of the program, who like wrote a book, so you can actually go and read the biography of the creator of the method. But the English program was not using it, and then COVID came, and they stopped giving classes in person, at least for a while. And they ended up canceling the Thai program completely. And then sometime later, they reinstated the Thai program, but they went back to traditional teaching. So all the teachers that were teaching with this method moved to online, to either giving private lessons online or offering also their own. Well, they have their own YouTube channels. I don't know. Maybe they organize group classes that you can pay for and participate in. So it moved to in that direction. Yeah.
Fascinating. Crazy that they would switch to traditional. So now we're going back to Dreaming Spanish a little bit. Mainly, it's just massive comprehensible input base where people can basically listen their way to fluency, which is really cool. Do you offer anything else, or is it just the content? Because
so
you learn Thai with like speaking as well, right? So I'm wondering if
eventually you'll want to start speaking. We don't see it as a big part of the learning process itself. There are two things with speaking. One is at some point you're gonna want to start speaking because you need it for confidence, just to know that you actually are at that level, so that you don't have to be afraid to go and talk to people. Another one is for the actual muscle memory of pronouncing the sounds of the language. If the language you're learning has sounds that don't exist in the languages you know, then you're gonna need that. That we've seen, and I've seen myself, that it comes pretty quickly. So if you've really been listening for the language for a long time and you have a pretty clear idea of how the language should sound, when then you go and start speaking it, there's like this difference between what you're hearing in your head and what's coming out of your mouth. So there's going to be like a few dozen hours, maybe 10 or 20 hours in which you're hearing this difference, and little by little what's coming out of your mouth is getting closer to what you're hearing in your head. So that's around what it takes to kind of build that muscle memory, which is still necessary, but a lot less than what most people think, especially if people recommend like to start speaking from the beginning. You don't really need that much like speaking practice just for the pronunciation itself.
Yeah, just for the pronunciation. Yeah. I speak. Yeah. When people want to learn Chinese, that's their most common worry. And I just tell them, don't worry about it. It'll come.
Yeah.
And so Dreaming Spanish we're not doing that yet.
For Dreaming Spanish, we give just guidance, recommendations of how to go about it, but we don't offer any. We don't charge you for anything. We recommend just finding either a language exchange partner or just doing activities in the real world. The other benefit of starting to speak when you're at the right level is that when you speak to speakers of the language, they talk back to you, so then you can get more input. So there are a few live situations that you don't get much exposure to unless you like go and are there. Like being at a restaurant or shopping at like stores and stuff. It's a lot easier to go to the country and do those things because there's a lot of vocabulary that you don't really get much of just from content.
Totally. Well, we always want to try and make the most realistic content, but it'll not always be exactly as
we try. We try to make like role plays, scenes in like restaurants and shops and stuff. But there's always gonna be some things missing. No.
Totally. Yeah. And so what's the next goal for Dreaming Spanish? Now you've got just massive library. Continue producing it, or what's like the next 1 or 2 year goals?
Just continue growing our library, especially for French. We want to get to the point that we have also enough content for French, at least 1,000 hours.
Cool.
We recommend 1,500, but after 1,000 hours, you're already good enough to start benefiting from native content, from kind of the easier native content. So you don't need us that much. We still want to offer that content in case, because it's very convenient to just have it in one place. You just go there, press play, and you're getting your input. So many people still benefit from that, but at least 1,000 hours is really like the basic minimum like amount we need to have for people to really be able to get good and have kind of like not be bound by the amount of content without needing to get content from the outside. Of course, they can still get comprehensible input from other creators. Right now, because of our success, there are other creators that are making comprehensible input in French and in other languages.
Cool.
But yeah, so this 1,000 hours is what we need for it to be kind of self-contained.
Sweet.
And then
focusing on French.
Yeah, move on to other languages.
Oh, which ones are you thinking?
Haven't decided yet on which one is going to be the next one. But I mean, for sure, it's going to be the most popular languages, because for us to build a library of 1,000, 1,500 hours in a language, that costs money. And
totally,
if there's not going to be enough customers for that language, then where are we going to get the money for the next language after that, right? We're just going to be like cash bound. There could be a point in which like we can just not grow anymore, because the languages we're making are just sucking all the money that we're making, and we can just not grow.
Yeah. That's very powerful. Then I understand the word empire more, like eventually potentially cover most popular languages, which is very cool.
Yeah, like, I mean, I said world domination, but what I meant is not necessarily, it doesn't have to be our company. Like for me, if I change the world in a way that people realize,
influence,
this is the best way of learning, even if it's not only our company that's like hard in the market, and is a bunch of different companies or projects and people that are, and most learners want to learn languages with comprehensible input. For me, that's already a win.
Yeah, that's a very powerful mission. And even though I was not into language learning before I got into this space, when I tell people about it and people are like, what's comprehensible input? I'm like, you gotta know. Like, if you want to learn languages, you gotta know it. Like, stop, just ditch the textbooks. Like, because I never liked language learning. I learned German in high school because I was in the French part of Switzerland, but I don't remember anything. Like, it's zero German.
So you grew up so you're, half Swedish, half
Swiss? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you were in the French part of Switzerland.
Exactly. Okay. French and English level native, Swedish more or less, and then Spanish pretty decent. But German, I learned it, don't remember anything. Chinese is already sticking a lot better than German, even though German was like 7 years of learning, which is crazy.
Okay, yeah.
So that's why it's much more fun as well, just for learning.
Hopefully you'll be able, well, I don't know if you'll be interested, but you'll be able to learn German also with comprehensible input.
Yeah, maybe eventually.
I would like to eventually.
If I can put the baggage aside.
That's cool. Oh yeah, you have to forget about your childhood trauma.
Yeah, exactly. And well, before we, I have a couple more questions, especially on the business side, because you've been doing this for so long now, like almost 10 years, let's say, of creating this type of content. And I guess it hasn't always been a steady growth. What's, over a long journey, especially when we have a big mission and it doesn't always go as fast as we want, like what's the things that have been working for you the most to like make sure you're actually growing? Well, maybe what have you learned over the journey that's helped you grow, let's say, the business?
Nothing really has helped us grow. I would say nothing that I've tried to actively do has helped us grow. There's been very few things that even got us like ticks of like views or subscriptions on YouTube, and it always went back to base. And it's all been very organic and just happened because of word of mouth, because of people sharing us on socials, on Reddit and stuff.
More compound. Compound
effect. It's always been like a percent of like our current kind of amount. And at the beginning I tried many things, but after a while it's just nothing really worked. We did get like right at the beginning, right when I started, when I don't remember if I had like 3 or 4 videos, I did put it on Reddit, and that got us got me maybe like 200-300 subscribers in a few days. So that was like a first sign of, like there's at least some people who like this, who want this. And then at some point later, I did like a small appearance on a YouTube channel of a friend who he explains languages, like explains the grammar of languages and stuff. And he made a video about Catalan, and he needed a recording from a native speaker, so I did it. And he mentioned that that I had recorded it, that I had this channel Dreaming Spanish, and that also, I don't remember where we were at, but like maybe we were at like 5,000 subscribers, and in a week it got us like 3,000 or 4,000 more or something. So that was significant.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And then the other times that I felt at least like a small difference, at least somewhat of a difference, was when we did collaborations with our YouTube channels, and we did a video together for our channel and a video together for their channel, and that at least did something that was noticeable.
But and aside from that, it's just been producing just YouTube consistently, no ads or
no ads, just YouTube, just trying to improve our content, just making better content, spending more time on preparing the scripts, finding better people, letting people work on it for more time, also on editing and everything. Just making like higher quality, we're not high budget in any way, but like higher budget content, I think has been generally well received and probably has helped to our growth.
Amazing. That's amazing. So do you think most people find you through the YouTube channel then? Or do they, or aside from word of mouth?
Yeah, probably just YouTube recommendations, and many people do say from Reddit.
Amazing. That means that the mission is really working, actually, which is like the best sign.
Like I'm not against paid marketing, so I think once we have, because the way we started, it was very meant for people who are learning a language on their own, and that's already, it's not a kind of it's not a mainstream market, like people who just sit down and learn a language on their own without like attending classes. We are kind of special people. We're not like mainstream market. So if you wanna make the kind of app, the kind of website that people who go to classes or people who use Duolingo would want to use, it has to be very easy, very smooth. Everything has to be like very easy to understand, and we're kind of getting to that point with our app. Now we have a mobile app. So once that is completely smoothed out, I think it makes sense for us to start investing in paid advertising, and we probably will.
And you could scale more aggressively, because the only doubt, or the main question on my mind that I don't like about this space is that comprehensible input is not so known still. Like even though maybe you have thousands of subscribers, how many subscribers? I forgot to look it up. Well, you're getting close to
we're past 500,000.
Yeah, amazing. But comprehensible input, well, that's just for the Spanish, right? As well.
Even
so I wish
when
it was
we
something
got to
more known.
Like right now it's quite like relatively well known within its niche. I would say mostly in English speaking countries. So I think this is going to be a bigger challenge once we want to start marketing to other countries, to people who don't know English yet. Either to learn the languages that we currently have, or if we start offering English, then that's going to be a whole new mission of letting, like spreading the word of comprehensible input in other countries.
It's something that I think about a lot, because if we're just, otherwise it's always marketing to people who already know comprehensible input, or we trust that their friends are going to tell them about it, which is powerful, but
eventually maybe enough, but there may be some ways we can kind of accelerate that.
Talk with the government, say, hey, put the textbook aside, just listen to Spanish in the classroom.
I don't know what the government will see, but we'll look at our options.
It's I think it could be possible. And so cool. So now next step is also building an app right now.
So we have
it's already
an app
live, right?
Now it's live.
Amazing.
And
that's helping people
a few things can be
easier.
still done to smooth it out. but we're working on it, and probably are gonna make the experience even more uh, just streamlined over time.
Yeah, for sure. And well, now that the business is so stable, what's the part that feels the toughest for you? Is it, especially as an entrepreneur, like we always want to go bigger and bigger, bigger, but what's the tough thing?
I mean, for me, the toughest part now is that we're quite big, and I don't know how to manage people, and I don't know if I'm very good at
Oh,
it. So that's something that I'm working on. But I don't know if I'm very good fit for it, or I may want to like put myself in a more kind of more focused role and
hmm,
find some other people to do more the managing and stuff.
hmm. Must have beautiful skill to learn. Well, what are you leaning towards? Learning it or delegating it?
I mean, I'm still working on improving, on learning it.
Hmm.
But yeah, we'll see how it goes, because I may learn it well enough, but not like it yet. uh so still
Hmm.
maybe decide to focus on a different part of the project, on
Sure.
maybe opening new areas of work, new markets,
Hmm.
or
What's your
yeah.
favorite part?
Like, I had a lot of fun just making content, especially making content
Hmm.
with other teachers when we record a video like
Oh,
this.
cool.
Usually, because we live in many different countries, we usually record video calls. But just doing that was fun enough.
Amazing.
Many times we play games, and
Hmm.
those are also a lot of fun. But then just also brainstorming new ideas for concepts for new formats of videos, like a new game that we've never played, or a new way of like showing the visual information so that it can be easily understood. All those, I think, the project could benefit from exploring new ways of doing that.
Awesome. Then, yeah, a reminder for all entrepreneurs is to keep doing what's also fun, because sometimes we get sucked into the what the business needs instead of doing what we also still enjoyed from the beginning.
Yeah, I'm
You know?
also probably talking from a position of like kind of privilege, because we are at a point in
Hmm.
which we're profitable. I don't have to worry about
Yeah.
keeping the lights on,
Yeah.
out staying afloat,
Luckily.
right? Yeah, we didn't get like outside money, so I don't have to answer to investors. So I'm in a very lucky position that I can kind of choose,
Hmm.
as long as it's viable. I can be, yeah, I can do quite a few different things. But
That's awesome.
for a long time, like, what you have to do is what you have to do. And if you have to learn accounting or marketing,
Yeah.
yeah, you have to do it. And and then you have to do it, learn it, get good at it, and then give it, delegate
Totally.
it to somebody else. And for the longest time, that's what you're going to be doing. Okay, what's the next thing we
Yeah.
need to do? I find the best solution for this, learn to do it, teach it to somebody else, and delegate it to them, and
Hmm.
then find the next thing to do. Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. If you were starting over again, um, either with this business or any business, what's the lesson you'd want to tell the younger Pablo, the one who was just in the beginning of his journey?
That's a difficult question. Maybe the one thing that I would do is um, kind of be more strict with,
Hmm.
like, when reviewing other people's work,
Hmm.
like, have a higher standard, like, not let things go through just because I think, oh, they're good enough, or no, like,
Yeah.
try to keep a
Hmm.
more consistent level of expectations and quality, even if it
Hmm.
requires telling people, no, I need you to like do it again, try again. Yeah,
Hmm. Hard to know though, no? Like, because especially in the beginning, we don't even know what a good standard can look like.
for sure, because
Interesting.
each person is going to have their own standards. So that's what I would tell myself, because I think it's
Yeah.
what I needed. But some people,
Hmm.
some entrepreneurs, maybe they are
Yeah.
perfectionists and they need to be told the exact opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's relative. It is. Yeah.
Great point.
Yeah.
Oh, great point. Awesome.
Mhm.
Well, before we start to wrap it up, what's something that maybe hasn't been mentioned or a question you wish was asked today?
I don't know, but the one thing that comes to mind, in
Hmm.
general, when yeah, discussing entrepreneurship
Hmm.
and creating a business and everything, one thing that I sometimes mention to people is that you don't have to do this. Like, it is hard.
Fair.
There are quite a few things that, like, for the last almost 10 years of my life, I've been in this situation of that I mentioned to you, I think, before we started recording, which is this uncertainty of what should I have no idea what I should be doing right now, basically. Like, there are so many things that I could do to try to improve my business. There's kind of an unlimited amount of things that I could do. And I can have kind of an idea of which ones I should prioritize, but I don't have any way of knowing for sure which ones are going to have the biggest impact, which ones I really should do earlier, which ones I may do and may actually harm the business more than benefit it. And so you're always with this kind of uncertainty. And are you okay with that? You want to be, because there are other ways of living your life that are just much better, and maybe you're going to be fine. And maybe depending on the type of person you are, you don't need it. I'm myself not the type of person that I thought, oh, I want to be an entrepreneur. No.
Yeah.
I want to change how people learn languages. And I found that being an entrepreneur is probably the best way to get there, the way that it's more likely to work. So I did it. But yeah, like, ask to yourself, because some people, maybe if you start reading entrepreneurship books and going to events and stuff, you start feeling, oh, maybe these people are really cool, or I would like to also do that. But you may not like that life, or you may not like that kind of stress and uncertainty, and you may be better off, maybe happier, doing something more normal, right?
I appreciate that perspective a lot, because I talk and I usually surround myself a lot with that type of entrepreneur, the one that's like, yeah, let's go get it, and I'm gonna say American style.
Okay.
But so I appreciate you saying, like, okay, I wasn't thinking about this, kind of just fell into it, and just being patient. And I think it's important to have like that a strong vision of what you want to create in the world. That seems to be what's been driving you. This way.
Yeah, just think, like, why am I doing what I'm doing? Because maybe even if you are starting a project, a business, maybe you don't want to start a like $1 billion startup, find investment and stuff, but you can just create a business that just lets you have kind of a lifestyle business that gives you a lot of freedom. You don't need to grow. Maybe depending what you're doing, just by yourself, you're fine. Depending on what you're doing, maybe you make sense to hire 2 or 3 people, and you can just stay there and like make pretty decent money and be happy for the rest of your life. And you don't have to aim higher, right? For some people, they're probably going to be more happy that way than trying to like scale no matter what.
100%. Well, humans have a need for growth in general. So finding ways to grow is powerful. And for entrepreneurs, it's usually through business. Amazing, Pablo. Where should people check you out, or what's the best channels to learn more about Dreaming Spanish and you?
Yeah, just go to dreaming.com, and we have our learning platform there, both for French and Spanish. And there you can also install our mobile app, or just search for Dreaming on the Play Store, the App Store. If you want to learn Spanish or French, you can go to our YouTube channel and just search for Dreaming Spanish, Dreaming French, and you'll find us there.
Amazing. Plus, the name is very cool, so makes it very fun.
We managed, I think, to find a good, even a good domain, just dreaming.com. It was amazing that it was available.
Wow.
But yeah, even like my original idea of naming it Dreaming Spanish, I think I'm pretty happy with it. I think it really kind of fit the theme of our whole project.
Amazing. Thank you so much, man. That was amazing. I'm grateful we were able to talk about language learning and business. It was very fun.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me.
Awesome.